Hello everybody, it's really good to be here. Today I wanted to talk to you about a book that I read over the weekend and I could not put it down. I literally read it in one sitting. It's Demi Moore's autobiography called Inside Out. If you remember, Demi Moore at one point was the highest paid actress in Hollywood, and she starts this autobiography, as I said, called Inside Out, by asking the same question that I did when I hit my absolute rock bottom after leaving an abusive ex. She said, "How did I get here?" She had fame, money, and huge success, but then it all came crashing down. And there she was, left in her enormous house, empty, without her children, without her husband, completely alone, aged 50, asking, "How did I get here?" She'd had everything and lost it all. Her kids weren't talking to her, nor were their father, Bruce Willis, who she'd been married to but still remained really good friends with for a long, long time. He wasn't talking to her. Her husband, Ashton Kutcher, had been having affairs and was now walking away from their marriage, saying he didn't want to save it. And then she was rushed to hospital, convulsing after smoking a synthetic drug, as the tabloids splashed her near death across the front pages. That was her rock bottom. But it was also after a life in which she spent starving and torturing her body with food as her weapon. But most significantly, and this is why I wanted to come on and talk about this, most significantly, she spent her life running away from her childhood. And it was one of emotional and physical neglect, of never having good parental role models to show her, teach her self-love or what healthy relationships look like. And now her greatest fears had come to roost and she was left completely abandoned and alone. And I know many of you come to me saying that's exactly what you feel like, that you've hit, 50 or thereabouts, and now your greatest fear is ending up completely abandoned and alone. So I thought it was really relevant, and keep listening because it gets even more relevant. It took Demi a lot of pain and hard work, but she did finally face her demons and heal her wounds. But you see, that's the trouble from running from a toxic, dysfunctional and/or abusive past. At some point, it catches up with you, and when it does, you really crash hard. And I'm not talking extreme abuse either. I come from a very happy childhood. My memories, I have fantastic ones, but there was enough dysfunction, and I believe my emotional needs weren't met growing up as a child, and that led me into abusive relationships and to my rock bottom, where I crashed after fleeing a man who'd almost taken my life. So it doesn't have to be an abusive childhood. It just can be one of subtle dysfunction or emotional neglect that is enough to have you growing up repeating patterns of toxic relationships and never feeling good enough to get you to that point. And then you ask yourself what she did and I did. How did I get here? Because what's going on is subconscious from childhood. So you have no idea when it happens. How did my life become this? And sadly, I see so many women who ask themselves this question well into middle age. And then, when their life is a hidden, hot mess, they're living a double life, pretending to the outside world that everything's great, but they're just a mess. And when they come to what is their emotional crash, they wonder with regret, is it too late for me? You know, you can have a nice car, house, career, and lifestyle, and to the outside world, everything looks great. Demi Moore's life certainly did. So did mine. But what the world doesn't see is you're drowning inside. You're feeling unloved, unseen, loneliness, worthless, and like you're a failure. Is this familiar to you? Because I speak to women every day, literally single day, women come to me telling me this. And the tragic part about Demi's book was her description of her childhood. Because when I was reading it, what I could see was the path to her emotional, physical, and spiritual collapse at 50 was pre-written and absolutely inevitable. You know, her breakdown was not caused by the loss of her husband or what happened to her kids. It was building up since childhood, like a pressure cooker, just waiting for the right moment to explode. You can run, as I said, from the pain of emotional neglect in childhood. You might be so strongly in denial that you don't even know it's festering inside beneath your subconscious, living in denial, complete denial, behind that nice, successful facade and lovely house. You can numb it with eating disorders and addictions, or distract from it by rescuing damaged partners and people-pleasing everybody else until you've got nothing left of you inside. But you cannot hide. One day it will catch up with you and you'll be asking the same question, how did I get here? It breaks my heart because all the women that I work with, it's the collateral damage that I'm working with and I'm picking up the pieces of that has come from their past. And subconsciously, they've never been aware of that. And we have to start to, you know, I guess pick up the damaged pieces and put them back together again. But it didn't have to be like that. You know, it doesn't have to be that way. But sadly, if it is like that in childhood, then it's inevitable. There's no escaping it. And when you get to that point where it catches up with you and you start asking yourself, how did I get here? Why do I keep attracting people into my life who hurt me over and over again? Why am I self-sabotaging every chance of happiness in my life? And you're confused. You have no idea how you got there. Unless you recognize that there is something in you that played a role, not to blame you, but is the common denominator as to why you keep attracting toxic partners into your life. For example, unless you face this deep inner pain and childhood wounds and do the work to heal, then this pattern is only going to continue. And what's worse, and this is what I also see every day, is that you will be modeling the same to your children, because generational trauma repeats itself as history does. I see that time and time again. I saw it in my own life. And I talk to women every day who are terrified of the impact they're having on their kids. But it's a time when the most important thing to teach them right now is self-worth and strong boundaries. And you can't do that if your life is falling apart. The choices you make now will determine your children's future. Your pain could one day become theirs as they repeat the pattern and end up in toxic relationships themselves, or God forbid, abusive themselves. Or like Demi Moore, struggling with addictions and body issues, not feeling worthy or good enough. Or you can do the opposite. It's never too late. But you need to start now. You can show them what self-love and healthy relationships look like and break that generational trauma and emotional abandonment once and for all. I did that, and our sons are absolutely the living proof of it, because they have grown up to be emotionally intelligent men who are beautiful with the women in their lives. You know, very respecting, kind, nurturing. I broke that cycle. So if you need support to break this hidden cycle before it's too late, then what I would suggest you do is go to my website, vivianmcgrath.com, which is on the screen, and find my webinar, How to Recover from Toxic Relationships, Fall Back in Love with Your Life, and Never Settle for Anything Less Than You Deserve Again, because that will show you the 5 simple mind shifts and steps that my clients have used to go on to absolutely become the model to show their children what self-love and healthy relationships looks like. Or you can join my Facebook group, Love You and Choose the Life You Want, or subscribe to my YouTube channel where I do these videos regularly. This is really an important thing. It's crucial that you break this cycle, because it is not inevitable. You don't have to make your trauma your children's. They don't deserve that. And I'm just seeing that Yogi Bear, I love the name. Yes, you're also asking this question, those questions, brilliant. The thing is that I've healed all that I'm aware of over the past year, faced the hurt from my mum. What is blocking me now is my subconscious. I need guidance. Well, I'm really glad you're here, because that is why it is so hard to heal. It is in your subconscious, completely in your subconscious. And I didn't even know that there was anything from my childhood that was impacting my life, because I had a very happy one, as I said. And I was completely shocked, because I was strong. I was successful. I thought I was confident. I didn't even know I had low self-worth. It was a complete revelation to me. And that's why you need support and guidance from somebody who has been through this, because they can shine a light on the parts of you that are subconscious that you just cannot see, and connect the dots to make you realize how that is impacting you 30 or 40 years later, which is exactly what Demi Moore's book is all about, was that she had no idea that her entire life was building to that moment where it all fell apart. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for your comment, Yogi Bear. I love that. Yogi, I will send you a direct message, okay, as to how I can support you. And we can get on the phone and have a quick chat. All right, well, I hope that's helped, and good to see you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.